Hi, I'm Chris from Vulvodynia. We're currently on the Tech Trek 5 tour with Archspire, Entheos and Inferi, and I'm about to show you what you need if you're traveling from a country afar like South Africa, how you can fit everything into one bass box. So let's check this out. Here we go. We're gonna open it up, and that's everything I need. So firstly, the first thing I have is my Dingwall NG3. It's a great roadworthy bass. It doesn't go out of tune, it doesn't warp. It sounds great night after night, and it's an absolute workhorse, and it plays like an absolute dream. And it's the same color as the Praenuntius goo. The strings I'm using are actually the Dingwall strings as well, and I'm actually adding a 170 gauge. The reason for this is I actually tune an octave lower than a normal bass. So this is like a low E. So you know, like the lowest E on a grand piano, that's like the note you get here. And with a bit of distortion, you hear a lot of the upper harmonics, but it's got this great Godzilla-like feel and sounds like I mean, you can even see this. It looks like a piece of barbed wire. You know, you can keep cows and sheep in with strings like these. It's pretty great. And Dingwall make their own pickups as well. It's neodymium pickups. It's got an active onboard preamp as well from Dark Glass. And yeah, that's what I use. I use the 170 strings, maple neck, elder body, and it's also got the fan fret system, you know, the multi-scale system. So each string is a different length. They differ by 0.75 of an inch, right? So you got 37 on the low inch, 34 on the high, and it keeps an equal tension across all the strings. That's very nice if you want a lower action, maybe want to dig in a little and still have a tight, responsive string tension. It's actually tuned EA, EAD, so that's actually a bit different, but the way I see it, these are my two riff strings, right? And these three are my musical strings. So these I do chord voicings or nice lines and stuff like this. And whenever I play these, people get scared. They get afraid. It goes like blah. On the first Vulvodynia tour we did, I actually played a Fender's 4-string bass, and I realized I needed an extended range instrument. And at that time, Nolly launched these basses, and they were extremely popular at the time. And I reached out to them and asked them if I could get one of their basses, because you can't get them in South Africa. So I actually took a blind faith leap, if you will, and just ordered one from Canada, and it got to South Africa, and it was absolutely amazing. It's the type of bass that you don't need to try in a store. It will be fucking amazing. Sorry for the French, you know, but it really is. It's one of those instruments that you sure as hell it would be great. You don't even have to try it. Trust me. If you don't trust me, you don't trust anyone. If you're in a room where maybe the response is a bit different, or it sounds a bit dull or a bit bright, you can actually tweak it. But honestly, in my experience, it's got an active passive switch. So if you switch it this way, the preamp is on. You switch it that way, the preamp is off. I have a passive setup, so I bypass the preamp, so it's on zero. Everything's flat in a sense. You can select the pickups with this rotary knob, and you can do 1, 2, 2 in the back, or 1 there. I just go straight in the front. Gives you a nice woody tone and a nice, like very tube-like, beautiful sound. And I like to fuck up a beautiful sound because we play slam, you know. So I start with a beautiful sound, and then eventually I send it through my distortion pedals and stuff like that. From there, I run my cables. I got these Tsunami cables. They're pretty good. They're so noiseless. They're indestructible. I've been using them for a few years, and they just sound and feel great, and they look great, you know. Having yellow cables like that on a stage, you can see where they are, and you never fall over them because you know where they are, and that's pretty good. And I mean, the link between your instrument and your amplification is essentially the cable. So it's a really important part of the equation that we need to consider as musicians. So from there, I go into the mighty tuner pedal. It doesn't really matter what tuner I use as long as it keeps me in tune, because playing out of tune sucks. Although we bend a lot, so we bend out of tune. I don't know, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, the main pedal, the main source behind my tone for Vulvodynia, for this, the most slam, thunderous sound on a bass you can get is this. It's the Microtubes X7, or the X Ultra actually, not the X7. So this one's got a cab simulation in it. What it does, it splits your signal into two parts, a low part and a high part. The low part gets compressed, so you've always got this solid, thick bass running no matter what you do. then the top part gets distorted. Now that gives you a bit of saturation and a bit more aggression and a nice sick tone, you know. And when they blend that sick bottom end and the sick distorted tone up top together, you get the most badass bass sound in the world. Hands down, there's nothing that comes close to it. And if you don't believe me, then you don't believe anyone. I usually run this flat because it just sounds great flat. I have my crossover setting for the low pass just under 250 and I have my high pass crossover just over, like around 1K. So what that means is everything under 200 Hertz gets compressed and everything over 1000 Hertz gets distorted. So it kind of, that's where the crossover split happens. You can set your volumes here. My exact settings will actually be this. I drive the highs quite up and I leave the compression about 1 o'clock, and that's what I do. Then when it runs out here with an XLR mic cable, it can go straight into the PA. It gets the sound of a bass amp because this thing is my preamp. It runs into cab simulator. The cab simulator simulates a 4x10 mic'd up with a condenser mic or a D112 or whatever your choice is. You can do it all on the Dark Class app as well. And then from there, that's it. So essentially I have my bass going into a cable, going into one of these, which is a portable amp in a box, if you will. So flying from South Africa, this is all you'll need, you know. Other than that, I've got a portable little in-ear rig, which is a little amplifier. You just literally plug your in-ears in there and the signal from the monitor guy in there. And I use these Western in-ears. They're like a dual driver set and they sound amazing. I mean, it just gets everything right there and right in your ears, especially when you're playing in a very chaotic environment. It's nice to have the in-ears to just have a little bit of order in chaos, if you will. Other than that, I've got a leather strap because after 22 days of gigging, it doesn't smell like someone's shoe vomiting in someone's... I'm gonna stop right there, yeah, so it doesn't smell bad, you know. And that's about it. You need power. I got a one stop. We use different power supplies in South Africa and the points, the actual pins are different, so it's always just good to get a cheap one stop. They're very reliable. They work with the Dark Class stuff great. Little patch cable, and then yeah, family photos, bro. You got far from home. You gotta remember who you're missing at the end of the day. But other than that, it's it. It's a bass, it's a cable, and that goes into my portable Dark Class amp in a box, if you will. And that will give you the sickest tone in the world. Alright, so if you want to check out more stuff, check out my personal socials. On Instagram it's at Chris Thundervolt, or check out my band at Vulvodynia Slam. We play some brutal death metal with Chris Zen and Asuka City, which is Wandile Prusent and Duncan Bentley and Thomas Hughes and Luke Haroff. It is the craziest bunch of guys and we all have pretty sick gear, so check it out. And yeah, I mean, you can check the same stuff on Facebook. I'm Chris Thundervolt on Facebook, or Vulvodynia on Facebook. And other than that, YouTube, Google, I don't know where to buy Pornhub. Just have fun, bro.